What up, y'all? It's your boy, Jimmy Dukes, for another episode here on the Jimmy Dukes Gaming channel or whatever podcast, wherever you guys are following me. You already know. But we're here in Atlanta for the ATL meetup, and I'm talking to several people that's cool to see their face in person. And this gentleman next to me, the homie, 1ShotNox. What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? How you feeling, man?
Good, man. I'm feeling good, bro.
It's a pleasure to finally be here and meet you face to face.
Yes.
Because we've talked plenty of times in chat.
Yeah, throughout time.
Like, we got to get together. We got to get together.
Yeah.
We got to get together. So for me, immediately after you was like, I don't want to talk to you. It was like, if I don't do nothing else for this meetup, I got to go.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I even told Fox, because I believe he had an interview or something planned with you as well. But I'm like, if I don't do nothing else, man,
I appreciate that, man.
Because he wanted the interview. That's all he wanted. Now, we've been talking about linking. We haven't really got to play anything together and really vibe on the game. But just as far as energy, it was like,
dope. I appreciate that too, because
sit down and be able to talk to you.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it. We were kind of just chopping it up before we started recording, man. You know, I see you making your moves and doing your thing at your own pace. And I think it's so cool that your consistency is your consistency, but you're always doing something. And I've always respected that about how you're going about your content. Man,
it's amazing to hear that, honestly, because 2 years ago, when I first started this journey, man, it was, I had doubts, but one of my favorite sayings is where you are right now is exactly where you wanted to be 2 years ago. And I wake up and look at that and count those blessings, that grind, because, man, when I first started, like, even my first year, I can go back and look at some of that content and but I'm happy about it at the same time, because if I go look at that to where I am now, you're able to, most of the time in things, you don't really notice your growth or your elevation until you really sat down and think about it. But with content creation, it's all right there. If you have it, you can go back, take a look at it, and figure out at what point you think you made that great pivot to become greater in your journey. And so hearing that is just like, man, it's like, all right, Knox, you're doing something right.
Hey, that's
you're
dope.
Doing something right.
I appreciate that too.
I was that guy, man. I was that guy at one time that was just like, man, the numbers bothered me a lot before, and they don't now.
Yes.
It's honestly one of those things where it's like, I put out too much content for it to matter.
Yes.
Somebody's going to hit on something.
Yes.
I put out way too much content. I played way too much for not to come across your path. I'm the only 1ShotNox. So if you even go to Google and type in 1ShotNox, you're getting flooded.
All your shit, all the different platforms that you're on.
For YouTube, Facebook, TikTok.
And that's a good thing.
Whatever. Exactly. So I stopped letting the numbers really bother me so much and really focus on what I can control, which was the quality. One thing I got really heavy on was this right here, the audio, because I have a low speaking voice. If I'm not really, hype and yelling and talking shit as I am, I'm very, very much a shit talker. So if I'm not doing any of that,
you're like soft spoken and chill.
So those days when I had the streams and I would boot up and I'm kind of just sitting and
chilling.
Like, I'll go back and watch it. Voice is like really low. I'm like, about 15 people that I'm cool with that came in this stream, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's in Knox. Your voice sound kind of low. You know what I'm saying? So after I watched it back, and I'm like, all right, I got to go get a better mic. I was using the mic off the headset.
Yeah.
And it was
like, it's funny when it's cool that you say that. Well, first of all, the gratitude that you're happy where you're looked at, because as a content creator, a lot of the times you just so fucking go, and you're always fucking looking forward that, you don't get the time to sit back and appreciate and be grateful for what you did or didn't do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you say that, because I think about a year and a half ago, I was at that little fork in the road where I was just like, man, I'm a full-time job. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Got a lot of shit going on. As much as I would love to stream and be a streamer, I don't have the time to be dedicated to be a full-time streamer. But what I can do is provide a lot of different content. And that's when last year, I was like, you know what? I'm okay knowing that my numbers for streaming aren't going to be hitting, but I'm going to focus on the quality. So when you were saying about the quality, that's how I was like more okay with realizing that, hey, I might not be the best streamer, but I put a lot of content out. So if people enjoy the different content from different platforms, that's a win for me.
Exactly. And that with that is being said as well, it's all about what you bring to it. And I had this conversation with the Queen the other day, and it was like, what brings people back? Is it because you're a shit talker? Do you play the game really well?
Mhm.
Is your background nice? Does somebody like your voice? Maybe they're just attracted to you generally, but you have multiple factors in which people are really pulling back up to, take a view at what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing at the same time, because you have those ones in the community that's like, I don't care what you play. I'm gonna pull up the stream, say, even if I just say, well, what's up, and I'm gonna get out of there. But then you also had the ones that'd be like, oh, you not playing this today? I'm gonna go check out something.
Yeah.
And that's fine too.
Yeah.
It's a million content creators on this planet, so it's always what you make it. And that's why I really like it in my background. Having a nice background.
I've always told that when I started, like, I don't know if we can pinpoint the time that we met, but one of the first times I went to the stream, I was like, hey, I like your lights. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Because you had a nice little back. You always have a dope little background.
And that goes back to the conversation from the beginning where it was like, man, I don't know what's gonna make me stand out.
Yeah.
And I did so much research on streaming, and you'll never do enough.
Oh man, always learning.
You'll never do enough.
Always learning.
Regardless of who you are getting into the content creation space, you'll never do enough research.
Yeah.
Because the minute you think you did enough, it's gonna something else is gonna rise or
always get better, shit like that.
So you never 100% do enough research. It's like an infinite loop of it. But the things you learn on that path, help contribute to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So with the lighting and everything, it was like, I need this. I went through so many streamers, like before I even
decided
1ShotNox was created. I just had a regular Facebook.
So you were doing the research before you even got your stuff.
Absolutely.
Smart man.
Because I knew that's where I wanted to go, but then things aligned in which I was able to start. My queen helped me start. She contributed a hefty to that, being able to start it.
Shout out to our partners.
Absolutely. Shout out to Noxie. That's my love. We were able to finally, it was, and I can name the time. It was during the pandemic when Trump was giving out the stimulus checks. And that was one of the moments where we was kind of okay. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to take this money and go get the computer. And she was like, all right, babe, well, you need to, I was at Micro Center, and she was like, well, if you need like $1,700, take it.
Oh.
I bought the computer. I spent like 4 hours at my brother's house, not making any progress on that thing. Cause it's the first computer I did. Mind you, it's 2021.
Yeah.
This is the first computer I've ever
fuck with
bought. And that's, if I don't have any other regrets in life, let this be known. My biggest regret is not asking my parents for a computer when I was 15.
Right.
I'm not a person that really lives by regrets, because everything happens.
I wish I would have.
Happens for a reason.
Yeah.
It's drawn by what you do in that path. So if I can go back and take, Lil Knox back, if I had one regret in life, then number one would be going back and
getting a PC.
Parents, I would have said, fuck them Jordans, fuck that Xbox.
I mean, like you do your shoe game though. That I was telling you, yeah.
Man, I would have. Can I get a PC?
Yeah.
Or buy me parts for it and let me build it. So that was. But yeah, going back to, that was the research. I was researching. Then I had a group of friends as well that already had PCs. So it was like, well,
it was cool to already.
You need a PC. I was like, they was like, well, what money we working? All right, let's say 2,000. So they went to iBuyPower, PC Builder,
and trying to help you out and figure it out.
Put the list together, dropped it in the Discord. I took everything and looked at it and went to Micro Center and was like, I need this. And
they put it together.
I went home and put it together. So that was the computer.
So you put your first computer together?
Yep.
Fuck, I'm an IT guy, and I just can't. I'll have somebody I have a pre-build, bro. I know I can do it, so I respect the people that go that way, man. It's more satisfying, right?
Absolutely, and I'm very much lazy. Like, if it's something I really don't want to do, I'm lazy as hell about it. But when it comes to something I'm passionate about, I'll gladly do the research and get the time in to figure it out, because after I've learned it once, it's nothing but polishing the skill.
There you go.
Well so now I'm at that point after being in this position, like Black Friday roll around. If money's right, I would actually try to either build another computer, because the queen wants to get into content creation. Hey, so it's at this point where it's like, I can
foreshadowing. Y'all keep up.
Model that PC, get it together, make sure it's right, and then
pass it off
to her, so we don't have to buy nothing new. She can just pimp it out however she wants. Pink mic, you know, however headsets, whatever, and we can have the new one and go from there. But with all that being said, man, it was that research. I'm looking at everybody's background because I was like, I gotta make me different. You know,
you have to stand out in some way, for sure.
I was like, do I want a square? Do I want this? Do I want that? And then I go back and look at my streams, and a lot of it, I'm grossed with it because now, if you know, when you watch my streams, I have nothing on my page. It's literally just the box, and I have my little animated red box, and then my background. Because I've always felt like when you go back and do the walkthrough stuff, like I do with, you know, the content, I don't want the chat.
Everybody has like a different overlay style. I know what you mean. So, I'm more of a clean guy myself too.
You're very clean. I like, and one thing you do, if we're giving flowers, that I really took from you was like, I was like, I gotta switch some shit every once in a while.
Yeah,
I get content. I like, even if it's, I like Deuce to change something very minuscule. And it's minuscule to his community, but for him, it was a big change.
Yeah.
And that forced him to switch something up. So he got out of character for a little bit, but it's going to be something new to try out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to do that. So I've been trying to experiment with like different scenes.
Yeah. You have to kind of change a little bit because you can get complacent. You can get too much in your groove and just be like, I'm good. And then sometimes, like, just even it's a little small little change is a good change.
Absolutely. And even sound effects, music, like all of that stuff is like, I gotta change a little bit of this, play something different. So even with the freedom of Kick now and being able to really tap into having your own music, it was like, all right, well, I didn't play this one playlist out. Let me go play this one.
Yes.
So I can play a little bit.
I'm a big music guy too. So a lot of people are like, oh, you listen to so and so? You're like, yeah. But like when I stream, I'm multi-streaming. So I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and YouTube. So I can't play everything because I've noticed I Facebook might not catch it, but YouTube does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I just kind of like, but yeah, it's cool that because you can bring a different vibe and let people know, hey, this is the kind of music I listen to, and they would have never known because you couldn't play it on one platform, but on the other platform you could. See, so it adds a little bit of different change to it.
For me, with that too, it becomes that like it helps me to diversify like what kind of content I really wanted to take and record from, because it's like Diablo. When that's not a game I really care to like. I'm not gonna make no second content off of the game. So with that, I can play YouTube because I don't have to go worry about it. But if I know I'm going to make a reel, or I'm gonna,
you're mindful of what you're.
If I mindfully know, like, I might take something out of this piece of content. It's like, let me play the Epidemic playlist.
Yes,
so
smart.
I know if I go back and do something with it, I don't have to worry.
Nice. About, it's smart. I like that the fact that you brought up the whole research before you started streaming. So before you started streaming, like, where did in your point in your life where like, I want to be a content creator, I want to start streaming? Can you remember the point? I know you were talking about during the pandemic. That was kind of like, that was like what kind of sparked that interest? That was just lining that up for me. That was the stars aligning. It's always been a thing to want to be, but it really started back in. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Marvel Heroes Omega. It was an action RPG that came out a couple years ago, and I had a homie who started streaming. He just would push the button on like his Xbox and he started streaming. Then he slowly transitioned it. But I saw the growth, and I like meeting people from all over. Yeah. Like, fuck my city. But no. That's how I am. Here I am in fucking. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, from El Paso, Texas, bro. Exactly. So I know I feel you, man.
I like meeting people from all over, but also that have and hold the same interests.
Yes. Well said.
So when it came to that, I'm like, he's meeting all these people, and then he was like, the other thing for me was always, I want to make some kind of money to play the video game. Yeah. I'm too good at this shit. I love it too much. And you can literally get paid on this planet to do literally anything. Somebody gets paid to put the freaking pillowcases on pillows. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's like you get paid for everything. So why I can't get paid to play the game some kind of way? Whether playing it, making it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So at that point, this was like 2014, man. So at that point, it was like, okay, but things didn't line up right and everything like that. So when I finally met the Queen in 2017 and we really got to discussing goals outside of gaming and streaming, I also want to do similar like what Reef does, but I like embroidery. So messing around on clothes and things like that. But it was that that pandemic and her and them stimulus checks are what really kind of like pushed the button on it.
Yeah.
The thought was always there, but it was like, all right, if you don't do it now, it's no telling when you're gonna.
Yeah.
So do it now. And even then, I had the PC for like a whole year before I ended up streaming anyway.
Really?
Yeah, because I had that. In the process of getting that, my son was born. And we were trying to
life was happening.
Life.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. And then when we finally got to our house and got settled and then everything was, taken care of from that end, it was like
it was able,
slowly.
I know. We were just talking a little bit. Like I used to travel as an IT guy, and I would be gone for weeks at a time. And I started doing unboxings and reviews, but I was always tired though. I was always tired, and I wanted to pursue it because there was one YouTuber that I used to watch. His name is Alpha Gaming, and now he goes by Senpai, and he would do reviews for streaming. And I started getting into streaming. I was like, all right, pandemic hit. I lost my job. There was no more traveling. So I lost my job. I was at home for like 7 months, and I was like, well, fuck. I guess I'll do this now. I was playing on my Xbox on Mixer, and then I was like, you know what? I see myself doing this, and I'm in the position to do it now. So I bought a PC. I started buying all this stuff. I did the research because I already had my IT background. So I was like, all right, I can figure this shit out. It was just the money. You know what I mean? And I was on unemployment. It was more than I was needing. Bless my wife was already working. So we're okay. I was able to just pull a little bit of money and start doing it. And she thought I was crazy, but like she saw that I was passionate about it and the way I was going about it. Then I started getting the support from her because she didn't understand. It was something that I wanted to do and she didn't understand. And it was a back and forth. And once she saw that I was serious about it and I was investing my time, and, it took me a while to balance the family work, being okay, knowing that that might not be as fast as I would think it would be, but it helped me as far as the journey. Because you pretty much were like, hey, I could do it, but you planned it out to make sure once you went in, you were able to do it.
Yeah, man. I'm thorough in that way. When I'm like passionate about something, I got to do the research and plan out because I don't like
half-assing it. Yeah.
And I feel like that's like it being that way is a gift and a curse because it limits me because at the same time it's like I'm not gonna execute it until I know it's perfect. But sometimes you need to execute before you know it is, and just build it back up or go back and troubleshoot, do whatever you got to do before then. Which was with streaming was a lot of that. Like I didn't have no direction when I first did. That was when you first start streaming, and I tell anybody this, the hardest thing you're probably gonna go through is what are you gonna stream?
Yeah.
Are you just gonna think you just want to pick up this one game and stream? I play too many games. I was just gonna stick with one. So at the time, it was like, man, what's coming out? And I think Cyberpunk had just came out like the year before, so I bought Cyberpunk, and that was my first stream game, man. Was Cyberpunk 2077. Every time I tell people that, they're like, "What? I never would have thought." But Cyberpunk was the first game, and even then, if I could go back and do something else, I would have probably played something else. Because like jumping right into a story game, the first stream was kind of like.
Yeah, you have no following. Nobody's gonna really keep up with
that. You have no following. You have. I of course didn't have any sense of video editing, so it's not like I could go back and do anything. I would literally just hit the button, play the game for a little bit, done.
Yeah.
Try it again tomorrow, and then as I grown and started meeting people, that was my other big thing. It's like this ain't a journey you can really take by yourself.
Yeah.
You got to put together some group of people or something around you that you can bounce ideas or get tips from and everything, and even trying to progress into that was nerve-wracking, man. Meeting like Fox was probably one of the first people that I've really like tapped in with, because he was one of the people, his background, his eyes, I saw that, and I'm like, I like this dude, we like the same stuff, and then we ended up, the Back for Blood tournament came out, and that's how we really got acquainted there, so
that's cool. That I like how you said that, because it's true. Like, and you have to have the right type of people, not only in your inner circle, but the way you associate yourself with certain type of people. Because one thing that I started, like, if I can see the person past the content, then that's what gravitates me more toward them, because I'm more about getting to know the person rather than you just being a
just playing
badass
the
at a game. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how many times like there'd be times, you know, all of our schedules change, but there'd be sometimes you'd be on late and I would just jump on and I'd just be chilling watching you play a game and we just have a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I've always enjoyed, you know, getting to know people because of that. Because, you know, we cross paths with a lot of different people and, you know, we all acquaintances in a good way. But sometimes like the people that I genuinely like, I try to go out of my way to make sure that I start getting to know them. And then you feel that back and forth.
Absolutely.
If there's not that back and forth, then you know, like, hey, as much as you'd want to get to know them, they don't want to get to know you. And it's something personal.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think a lot of people take that personal.
And with what we do, there's also that relationship with, they're a cool dude, but we just can't make content together.
Well said.
You're a very cool person. I have nothing against you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to playing this game over this internet in this Discord chat, we don't click.
Yeah.
Outside of that, hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people take that personally. Because one of my first experience, and I've said this before, like I was playing with some other streamers like 2 years ago, Warzone, and I'm okay. You know, I ain't getting 10 kills. You know, I ain't running up the score, but I'm like a supporter guy. I'm pinging and doing shit like that. And then one guy, you know, just like, hey, you got to keep up. Hey, you got to do this. I was like, hey, man, I crashed a helicopter and I laughed and I clipped it.
But he took that serious.
Yeah, he was like, come on, bro, we got to push. And that's when in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm cool with this guy and everything, but we just can't stream. The vibe's not the same because I respect what he's doing and I don't want to, you know, be like, fuck, you're too much of a sweat. It's more of me like not understanding that I'm not a sweat and being okay just stepping back and just like, these guys are cool as fuck and we all support each other, but we can't play games when it comes to that.
I 100%
and it's okay.
feel that.
And it's okay. And a lot of people take that personally. Like one time I told the guy, hey man, my bad. He's like, nah, man, I know you're better than that. I was like, yeah, but I just realized that I'm not trying as hard as I could and I don't want to. And I'm just being honest with myself. Yeah. And they're like, all right, cool.
Outside of entertainment, we're businesses. So
exactly.
Like, if you got to entertain it and that's why I love my circle now and the people I've connected with, because if that would have happened with playing with anybody we playing with right now, we would have been cracking up.
Yeah.
We would have been talking, just, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Helicopter, man, what's going on? All right, run it back. Come on. Dude.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
Exactly.
You're not flying no more. It would have been one of those moments as opposed to,
man, this fool's fucking up.
Like, bro, come on, man.
Get it together, man. We're over here.
Anything but that.
Yeah.
We still got to entertain.
Yeah.
And I've learned between my community and a lot of other communities we in, they don't really care if we sweats. They just want to see a good time.
It depends like how you go about it, because a lot of people don't understand that. Yeah, we play a game, but we might not best of it. But there's some people that do excel and do well playing one game because they're known for that.
Right.
I'm not gonna take the time to just. That's not me. Like it took me about almost a year and a half, almost 2 years into creating content, being comfortable for what I bring to the table. And once you see people starting to do that, I think that's when people start getting along more, because everybody's in their own bag, doing what they bring, what they don't bring, and they're comfortable doing what they're doing and not doing. And you can start seeing people, hey, Nox, I see you doing all that shit. I cannot play with you. We might not click, but I see you, man. I respect you, and I support you, and it's okay.
100% okay,
right,
man. I've had some slight issues with that before, where people thought it was just like you dodging me. It's like, man, it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's all love. It's just we don't vibe with that game. Let's try a different game.
Yeah.
Let's try a different game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just being honest, right? Just a little bit more honest. A lot of people like might take it personally, but that goes toward the getting to know somebody past the game.
True. That's very true, because I've gotten to that point where, like, in my circle, I know, like, if it's like Remnant is a perfect example. We were talking about Remnant and Remnant from the Ashes. I know I ain't getting Fox to come back and play that. He tried it once. I heard the story behind it. I won't even ask him, like, bro, come play this game. But Major be with the shit. So it's like, all right, I know what to attack on each person.
Yeah.
If I go to Major and he ain't played this game before, and it looked like something, I know if it's gonna look like something he want to play, we with it. But with Fox, if I go to Fox and be like, hey, this VR game look dope, bro, we should try it. He gonna go do the research.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you gotta know what
your people, right?
Know your people,
the people that you mess with when it comes to
So you know before you even ask and set yourself up for that point where you like, damn, it's like that. It's like, nah, bro.
I'm glad you brought that point up because I was talking to Tetsu's Temple earlier, aka, Unfortunate from before. We talk and we have a whole podcast series that we did together, and it's funny because we laugh because a lot of the games that we all play, I don't play any games that he plays, he doesn't play any games that I play, but we're still cool. We don't have to coach him and play games together to do content together or have a friendship. A lot, you got to look past the games and shit like that because now when it comes to certain games, you know who to hit up.
Exactly.
Because it makes sense.
Exactly.
And you know why? Because you got to know the person.
And I know what I'm getting.
Exactly.
It's also been times where back when, like, last year when No Build first came out, and we were on that run of No Build. I mean, we playing with everybody, playing with this person this night. Tomorrow we playing with this person this night. And with me, I'm a shit talker. We get in the game. We ain't never played a game before. I guarantee you, if we get in a game right now, it's like, oh, Dukes, what the fuck? Dukes, get your ass over here. I'm gonna be talking all kinds of shit. That's what I bring.
But that's what it's like a friendly.
It is. Exactly. I'm never like, oh, you're bad. Like, I'm not gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
It's always just that's my icebreaker. I guess saying is talking shit because I want you to talk shit. I want you to talk shit.
You were talking about earlier. It's the entertainment value side of it too. You gotta. It's funny because my wife always like, I know you, but when you're on the camera and things like you yourself a little bit. I was like, but you gotta be entertaining.
I get that same thing. I get the same exact thing.
You gotta be entertaining.
You so quiet, but when you get on the camera and with your friends, you so loud and energetic and everything. I'm like,
my wife is like. It is a switch. It is a switch. But you have to understand, and I think, and I'm still getting to know you, but we're still ourselves, just umped a little bit.
Absolutely.
Just umped a little bit because I ain't that wild out type of person, but I will fucking laugh. I'll do shit like that and make it funny. But you got to make it entertaining to a certain extent. Because my wife is like, I know you, but Jimmy Dukes is somebody else. I'm like, well, yeah, Jimmy Dukes is like the side of just. My name is Jaime. I was like, it's Jimmy Dukes. It's my side of my other side. I'm a father side. I got my kid side, my career side, and shit like that. Yeah. But when I'm creating content, you get Jimmy Dukes. You know what I mean? My little ass up in there laughing and flexing and having a good time. You know what I mean? Because it's fun. It's fun. You got to make it fun. It's very fun. You're talking about meeting your girl and the researching and being a content creator. How long have you been creating content for now?
It was exactly 2 years, March 13th of this year. So
okay,
about
almost 2.5 years.
About 2.5 years, and nice. I as much as everybody be like, man, you be killing, I still feel like I ain't shit.
Yeah,
so
I think having that humbleness of just knowing that I ain't shit. Because I always compare myself, like I always tell people, I'm a big fight fan. I'm a big MMA fan and shit like that. But like that fool's killing it. He's killing it. He's gonna be a champ. I'm like, all right, he's number 20. Now look at number 1. Is he that close? No, okay, never mind. So I ain't shit. You could tell me how great I am every day, but I don't feel like I am. But that's kind of a good thing. Like, yeah, you want to receive the flowers and the pat on the back, but it's always going forward. So going forward, like you're already at 2.5 years, like an ideal, 1ShotNox fucking life. Like, where do you see yourself in the next year doing content creation? Do you see yourself doing a little bit more, just consistently being like, what you still doing your thing? Or
I feel myself locking down into it more. When I first started, I wasn't working as much, so I had a lot more time I wasn't working at all, so I had time to just dump hours in, and it was a gift and a curse because I would dump these ridiculous amount of hours into the stream, but at the time I didn't really have the following. Whereas now it's exactly opposite. I'm usually probably gonna give you like 3 hours and be up.
Yep.
Unless it's a good game, a lot of factors go into that. The queen do hair, but I like to make myself open for her, so I'm not playing the game or stream all the time. So
it's a balancing thing.
If she's doing hair, that'll usually be a time like, all right, well, she's busy, I'm gonna go ahead and boot up a stream. Or if she goes to sleep, or not even go to sleep, or if we just doing something, we ain't got nothing planned. We're very big on movies and TV. So like whatever the latest shit is, we usually watching it. So like if we get to that point and she passed out, it's like, all right, maybe I'll boot up a stream.
Yeah.
But in the next year, honestly, just more. I have a 9 to 5 as well, but I want this to be my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I wake up every day at work, and I always look at myself because we're bosses. I always look at myself. I'm like, man, I wake up every day to do work for somebody else. When this same amount of work could go into my editing,
Yeah.
I would love to be a part of the early stream community.
Mhm.
Just because if I had my ideal, you said my ideal would be a half and half. I would do 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours at night, and then between that day and is editing.
Yeah.
Family stuff, everything else I need, store runs, whatever I need to get done. But in between them 4 hours in the morning and then 4 hours at night, that's my 8 hours
Yeah.
of the day, and we could put it together like that because I'm learning and loving it more and more. It's just with time.
Yeah, of
You can have
course.
so much content. Like currently, I'm playing Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, and I have like 20. When I get back home, I got like 20 plus vids to edit and drop on that, man. And it's just like, but I gotta go back home and get ready to go back to work, and it's like, so I gotta put it off another day, and then I'm probably gonna stream, and it creates that point. So it's like work gets in the way of, I always tell people that this is my job, and 9 to 5 is the side job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because I talked to shout out to No Sense. I talked to him on a podcast, and he's like, he talked about what his family does and what he does. He's like, that's my sponsor for my dancing and my streaming. And I was like, no shit. Like, cause I've always, when I had a good paying job, and pandemic hit people in a lot of different ways, and for me at that time, being at home, and even though I was like, I felt defeated, I felt like I wasn't making money, and streaming helped me and content creating helped me, but just being at home made me realize how important it was to be at home with my wife, with my kids. And then I was like, you know what? My IT degree will always pay my bills. Eventually, doing this kind of stuff and meeting people and doing content, hopefully it can pay my bills eventually. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I ain't stupid. I got to have my job. I got to do this. I got to do that. And a lot of people don't realize that the people that are full-time and doing it and paying their bills, I respect the fuck out of it because that is hard. It's hard to pay your bills and just being a full-time content creator. So you got to have to be in the position to do that because I've always said, anybody could be a full-time streamer, but are you making a living and doing it?
Is that the goal as well, though?
Mhm.
Are you just full-time getting on and just streaming and being done?
Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
end game? Like,
Yeah.
Are you planning on making, secondhand content? Are you, planning? Because everybody don't, have any aspirations to get paid. They just probably
that's one cool thing. I'm glad you brought that up because that was one thing I did notice after some time and just being aware of what's going on with the space. It just like everybody streams or creates content for different reason. It's not always about money. And when I saw that, and I was like, that's true. That's me. Like, I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. Hopefully it could lead to that, but I'm enjoying it doing it. And I look forward to doing it. And I'm hoping that everything I keep doing, I don't get burned out on it or don't look forward to looking to it. Because you're right. I look forward to doing this, but I got to do this to be able to hopefully eventually do this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. For me, it's all of that, man. Doing it to get to that point. But also leaving with YouTube and how great it is as a library. For me, the other thing goes into leaving an archive. Like when we die, all we ever really have is memories and pictures. For them, I want my great grandkids and everybody else to come along and be like, let me go take a look at,
That's so dope that you say that.
Let me go take a look.
That's so cool that you say that.
Today, I can watch a video, and he has 50,000 plus videos in here. So by the time we get through them,
you get to know your
be about dead. But I want that. So that outside of potentially making money out of it and everything like that is just like that.
It's cool that you say the little legacy building. Yeah.
So like even if something happened, I wasn't here. Somebody can go look tomorrow and still check out.
It's cool, yeah. Like I have an older son, he's 7, and he just thinks it's the dopest thing that his dad's a streamer, and I'm like, I ain't big as you think I am forever. Like, but they love watching the videos, and I've been more mindful with my content, like with cussing and things like that, because my kids watch me, and it's cool. They get to see that side of me and see me strive and push in a different way. So it's also cool because they get to see me in that aspect, but at the same time, they see I'm pushing toward a goal. You know what I mean? So they get to see that. But the whole archive thing, it's cool because I have videos from my YouTube on another channel from me just being stupid from 12 years ago. And I look back at them like, That's so cool. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it creates that so you'll always be around.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of if anything happens or you know, something unfortunate happens, you always got that to fall back on. But at the same time, it's just I'm challenging myself honestly to see how many different games I can put on that.
Nice.
Because I've played a lot of games, and one of the things I was like, man, if I can go back and like every single game I've played on, you know, on YouTube, just for my like thing, so I can go back and be like, all right, we played this, we played this. You know, it's cool just to, you know, challenge yourself a little bit as well in this space. Don't let everything else challenge you without challenging yourself first. Like, give yourself a little, you know, something that's, you know, gonna get you to thinking and want to push and pursue that a little bit, you know. So that was one of them. It's like, let me go back and, you know, try a couple of the older games. So I did a lot of research in the emulators, because when the new games slow down, hopefully at some point, I'm tired of paying $60.
Yeah, no shit, dog.
You know, when they slow down and we finally get a backlog season, and I can pull up an emulator and go back and play, like, I want to go back and play like the old school Twisted Metal.
Nice.
Like that
hey,
screen,
that's
you know,
dope.
Stuff that was out that we didn't have streaming at the time. So a lot of people even then won't even see this game.
Mm-hmm. So and they know like, about it because of you all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I played this as a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had perfect example. It's been about a month now, but I went back and I love one of my favorite games is Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Okay.
On the came out on the 360, and so I went back and found it on the computer. Found these group of guys that mods the mess out of that game and went and put mods in it. And
nice.
Started playing it. I was trying to do like a throwback Thursday, flashback Friday kind of deal. I've been so inconsistent with stuff.
At least you're being honest.
Yeah, so
it's coming. It's coming.
But I booted it up one time and literally haven't done it. But I hate not finishing games.
Yeah.
Like, I got to go back and finish it at some point. But just the reaction from that, when I only played it for 3 hours, but man, the people were coming in like, oh my God, you're playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance? Like, man, I haven't seen this game forever. Like, got a couple
that's dope.
People like, you know, this is Marvel. Oh my God, Ultimate Alliance. So, you know, I always say with content creation, we're no different than an artist, a musician, anything like that. They all have to create, you know, what they're doing. We have to do the same thing, but they all also have to create something that makes it, you know, with art, your art style, or however you're going to paint, draw, you know, whatever you're going to do, music, whatever you're going to compose, what instruments you're going to use. We're the same way. What game are we going to play? What are we going to talk about today? What's the topic? What are we going to do? What time are we going to do it? Because a lot of that people see on the outside of us just hitting live and playing the game. But you're a planner, an engineer, everything, man. You have to go into that thing with somewhat of a plan. Like, it's almost impossible not to have a little bit of a plan, even if it's nothing major, I want to be the number one streamer. You know, even if you just don't have a general idea, your mind will explode, man. There's so much stuff we think about with this. So much stuff. Like, from timing. You know what I struggle with the most is, and Noxie always asks me, like, you're not streaming today. I'm bad with, after a certain amount of time, it's probably, if it gets about 9:30 and ain't nobody said nothing to me, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not going to stream because it's already too late. My energy slowly dwindled. So it's like, nah, I'll get to it tomorrow. But then something else will happen. Like, you're not streaming today? Like, nah. But if I get, like, right off work and go and make sure everything's straight and, like, because I work from home. So if I, like, rotate my chair and get right off work and get into it and my energy's high, I can usually run it for a couple hours and be fine. I can be done and I'm content with that. But I hate when I'm like that, man.
You know, because it's cool. It's cool because a lot of people, and we see it all the time, people just stream just to stream. And it's not the same. Like, one thing I started doing more is, like, I shorten my streams. Like, 2 hours minimum, 3 hours max. That I could feel like I'm in a good groove, keeping track of chat going on, being entertaining, keeping up with what's going on, talking to whoever I'm playing with. Because after a while, like, you're just doing it just to do it, and the energy level might not be there. Because I've seen people just go live just to go live. And I get it, you know, maybe it's more casual, whatever. But for me, I felt like when I'm ready to go live, I let everybody know, and then I do it because I know it's going to be good. And I don't want to force myself just to do it. Because I work from home as well. So, like, when I get out from work, my energy level is right there. So I'll play like an hour or two with my son on Fortnite or whatever, Monday through Friday or Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And it's there. And I don't do a night stream. Like, because by that time I start at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. So at 1 o'clock, I'm getting out of work. I stream a little bit. Toward the end of the night, I ain't trying to stream just to stream. You know what I mean? It's not the same. So, you have your ideal like of you going to this and doing that. And now that you've been doing it for 2.5 years, like what are some of the things that you can tell somebody who wants to get in the space now that you would recommend or not recommend, like some advice or tips that you would say to people coming up right now in this space?
That's a great question. Number one, know what you want to do. Don't just say I want to stream. Know what are we streaming? When are we streaming? Who are we streaming to? What is your demographic? Know what you want to do. Don't just say, I'm gonna just streaming looks fun. I'm gonna boot up stream. Are you gonna be a variety streamer? Are you gonna be a Fortnite streamer, Call of Duty streamer? Shoot, are you gonna be a hot tub and bikini streamer? Know what you want to do, so you don't get so caught up in trying to figure that out while you have the opportunity present to you. Like, just know what you want to do. Also, do your research on the platforms. Go take a look at live. Go type whatever you would stream into the search bar on your platforms and see how they're doing. See what you can take from that, and put that together. Also, learn some kind of editor. That's one thing I would have killed to know back when I started was editing, and I had to go download DaVinci Resolve and learn that shit myself. And I was so late, and I'm like, man, how much content did I miss out on? Like, good edits, because I really wasn't editing because I wasn't even aware of it. So go learn CapCut, DaVinci, any of that. Also, and this one is kind of like you don't have to, but get a Stream Deck. If you don't have a Stream Deck, ain't streaming for me, because trying to go between multiple scenes with the mouse when I can just push it on a button, trying to sound effects, just get a Stream Deck.
Right.
Even if you get the what is
the
it, like
smallest
the
one, the 6-1,
whatever 6-1.
Yeah.
Just get you a Stream Deck. What's that 4? Like it's the number one I would say is just have your plan, and then you don't have to have a super expensive setup to stream.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You could go spend $1,000 and have a decent enough setup to stream. Or even if you started off a console, don't let anybody tell you that you have to. If you don't have the top of the line this, top of the line that, you can't do it. I started with I went and dished out a bag for mine, but I didn't have everything I need. Like over time, I slowly upgraded my RAM, upgraded my mic, upgraded the monitor. So it's really of give what you can, and then upgrade it from there.
Yeah.
But those would be like the most important, I would say.
Yeah. I was like talking and asking people those questions because everybody, a lot of sometimes it's similarity, but sometimes you'll start hearing certain things that you don't think about. Because even though I knew I had an editing background because I would edit stuff before, I never took the time to edit anything because I just wasn't on my radar because nobody told me.
Exactly.
I just, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I always ask every guest that I have on, what would you do with this and things like that. So if people are coming up, you're more informed of what's going on. If you do want to pursue this in any avenue, in any way you want, if you want to be able to be successful or want to do certain things, hey, look into this, look into that. I'm glad you talked about the research thing, and that's dope, man.
The other failure is not the end. You're gonna fail a lot. You're gonna set hard expectations for yourself in the beginning of, man, I want to have this many followers by this time, and we're in a profession that it's unpredictable. People are very unpredictable. You'll say you want to have 200-300 followers in a certain amount of time, but and that whole time between that time, as you said, you get 1 or 2 followers. Now you're discouraged. I always tell people make goals that you have a handle. Like one thing I always tell people, like I always see this, and it is what it is, and people see that. I want 1,000 people by the end of the year, and I always I make my goals based on what I can control. So what I always said, I was like, I want to have 50 podcasts by the end of this year. I can control that. I want to do this because I control. I don't my goals are more realistic with myself and my content rather than it hoping that other people fill my goal. You know what I mean? Like I have to depend on I have to rely on people showing up to my streams to get to 1,000 people, and things like that. I was like, what can I do? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a reel every day.
I'm going to do an unboxing once a month. That's something that I can control and do. And by doing those things, you grow in your own way. Instead of worrying about, by the end of the year, I want to be verified. By the end of the year, I want 1,000 followers. I want 50 likes on this stream. Like, having to depend on other people to fill your goals, in my opinion, is like it's a slippery slope, because you could fail right away and you're gonna get discouraged.
Yeah, and don't pay attention too much to the numbers.
Yeah, man.
I shout out to Kick, because Kick is doing some consistent numbers for me. But man, when I first started, I had 1, 2 people.
Yeah,
big donut gang. Yeah, like, but I'm good with talking to myself. So
that's good. A lot of people. It's funny because a lot of people don't feel comfortable having a conversation with themselves. It's not really having a conversation. It's more like saying what you're doing and like, oh, I like this gun because of this. If you do this attachment, whatever. Oh, if you use this character and you do this, you're talking. And if somebody's watching or not chatting, at least there's a conversation and things are going on, man.
Yeah. So I'm very good and talking to the game, like even when the characters in the game.
Yeah, what you doing, dog?
Like they say, where you going? Why are you worried about what's going? Like, you talk junk to the game. Like, get comfortable with people not being there and having to talk to yourself. Because if you don't, then you don't want dead air, as they say.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to that, especially if you're running a game that doesn't have like very dramatic music in the background that can kind of like take the ambiance away. Want to be able to keep some noise going all the time, because they're airing the stream, especially if you go back and watch it, you like, man, it's so quiet right here.
Yeah,
it's just,
and that's the thing with just getting better with time. That's what is getting better with time, is like always. I like how you say you look back. A lot of people don't look back. I look back on my streams all the time, like, fuck, that alert was way too high. I need to go change that. You know what? My mic or the music was too low. Like, you have to go back and self-evaluate what's going on. You know what I mean? You're more mindful of what you're doing, because you're always, how you're saying, you got to be a director, you got to be a producer, you got to be an engineer. You got to be everything, because I always pride myself in telling people I'm a one-man army. I control all my platforms. I make all my reels. I make all my content. I record all my shit. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can say, and then I do that, and balancing my life, my kids, my wife. It can be done. It can be done. But I'm realistic with my growth, realistic with this career path. I know that I'm not going to make money, but hopefully in time, by just me enjoying the process and the journey and the people I talk to and doing all this, will lead to that eventually. But I enjoy doing it.
Exactly.
I enjoy doing it. I really do.
Enjoy it, even if it's nothing else. It's just a really great hobby.
Yeah. That's why hobbies end up paying your bills sometimes for some people. Absolutely. Man, they lead to, like, especially if you're passionate about it and realistic and doing whatever you want to do to get in that space. Because I tell people all the time, like, they quit streaming after 3 years. Or like, you know how long the big heads have been streaming for before they got their flowers and money? 10 years, 7 years, 8 years. So when I heard Stone say, man, I didn't start making money on YouTube until it was 8 years in. Dude, I'm only 3.5 years in. And he's like, I wasn't even doing half of the stuff a lot of people are doing. So in my head, the blueprint is out there. You just have to keep doing it. And if you can't keep up with that, then, that it might not go the way you want. But the blueprint is there.
Absolutely.
You have to do everything. You have to do everything and consistently and quality to survive in this game, if you want to make this a career path and financially, because a lot of people just do it as a hobbyist, and it's cool. I know a lot of streamers that are hobbyists and they're dope ass cool people. They don't make reels, they don't do that, but they're not bitching about numbers either. You know what I mean? Exactly. So it's whatever. It's like, you want to be the best race car driver? Well, you got to start winning races. You know what I mean? Do you just like racing just to race? Cool. Yeah.
Touché, brother.
Hell yeah, man.
Because, it's a fun journey, and if you thoroughly enjoy it, like my dad always used to tell me, if you enjoy what you do, it's never work.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with content creation. It's just it's fun, and it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's fun and challenging. So that keeps you on your toes, but you also enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
If you're doing it the right way, you enjoy the people you meet. The people I've met put me here in Atlanta right now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for content creation. Like, of course, visiting Atlanta, but I'm a whole meetup to meet other content creators. Right. Like, you don't get no better than
it's
that.
Dope, man. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate the conversation coming up here and chopping it up, man. I know we crossed paths through, other people, but I've been, steadily following your growth and what you got going on. And I appreciate, man, you inspired me in different ways. And I've told you, man, it's cool that having that bounce back and forth with the right type of people. You know what I mean? We might not be the best of friends, but we say what's up. I see you doing your thing, and that's what's up.
I recognize the vibe, man. Yeah. Especially when we already on each other's records, play video games.
Yeah.
It's always a green flag for me.
Yeah.
You play the game?
You have that, and that's one of the best things. We all have that one first thing in common, and then after that, you start finding out when you get to know a person, all the different things that you have in common, man.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, dude. That's dope, man. I appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah, man. Y'all make sure you go check out my boy. He's on the different platforms. All the descriptions will be down below. We're at the ATL meetup. We're talking to different people, man. I hope you guys are enjoying these conversations, man. Until next time, my boy.
1ShotNox. Gaming is life. Life is gaming. Y'all know what it is.
Let's go. Y'all, until next time. Peace out, homies.